right, we got the stream yard alert. We ought to be getting the YouTube one right after it.
Con. Live behind enemy lines.
Man.
Shalom. I think we Tawab.
Okay, con. All right.
Shalom.
Let's get it. Shalom. All right. We want to start off by giving our praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rahakwarash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders at Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the I can teach about the Mayan Wild Mop. That's in sincerity and truth. I'm Yatazak, and I got the Elder Monagon here with me. And Lord willing, we'll have a couple other brothers joining shortly. But it's Thursday night. The Lord allowed us a day out of the week to get together, outside of our respective camps, and we always want to go into prophecy, and we always want to go into news and various topics because there's always something going on, right? Anybody that's they call themselves an Israelite, you got the elect that's gonna know what's going on because they stand in tune with the prophets, right? And then you have the rest of Israel that were blinded. You see, and what we want to get into today is a few different various topics, but we want to start with, of course, just like the Lord said, we want to start with Israel.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, Elder, hey, you already got something for us, so let's get it. And Lord willing, this will be edifying and inspiring to the hopeful elect and everybody else. Hey, whatever.
See you on the other side.
God.
It's not based on them being white or them being Edomites, because the Bible also says, "Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite." So it's actually against our law to abhor a white man, but it's not against our law when a white man commits a crime against us to allow him to continue to exploit us with said crime.
See that? So it's this guy clearly is having an interview with Captain Tazari Wack, and he's basically rehearsing the same thing that his leader rehearsed when he got put on the spot with the actual news outlet. I think it was Channel 4 or CBS, wherever the hell they were located in Philly or New York, and they asked him, "Do you hate white people?" And it's the same general talking points and questions that they had for ISUPK, and they're giving the same answer. They're dodging it. You're supposed to let your yay be yay and your nay be nay. And I'm watching this video, and then another one where, matter of fact, let me pull it up. Let me pull up this other one actually, because this plays into it as well. All right. Yeah, here we go. Let me play this one too.
You ejaculate. That's why it's not crazy. I demonstrated to you that just in lieu of you having children.
I'll just play a little bit of this and then we'll get these precepts.
On if she one of your children.
I answered your crazy question. Yes. And
there's nothing crazy about it. Here's why it's not crazy. I demonstrated to you that just in lieu of you having people who are not a biological parent inside of the household, right? The chances of a child getting hurt or injured by this other person who's not a biological parent drastically go up. I can give you all of the data on this if you'd like. Did you say it one time? Yes. If it is the case that you live in a household with non-biological parents, your chances of injury drastically increase. So if the state has custody of you, drastically increase. You have a stepdad, it increases. Stepmom, it increases. And in polygamous homes, where there's multiple wives, the chances of a child getting hurt increase by the non-blooded parent. They increase. That is in fact, that is in fact the case when you study polygamy. So the thing is that why it is pertinent is because your chances would increase of one of your wives hurting one of your children that's not one of her biological offspring. So it's pertinent for me to ask, inside of your religion, could you leave her? You said yes. And then you said the only way for you to leave a person or divorce them, separate yourself from them, is actually through fornication. This is a P, not P contradiction. It's a literal P, not P. So you have to reconcile this contradiction. How can you divorce your wife if she murdered one of your children? How can you do that?
Right now, and what Tazariak is basically saying, he got caught. See, that's why you don't sit down with Christians, because they play semantics. All right. And that's why it's important that we study, because they're not the only ones coming with questions. Everybody's gonna have questions. Everybody's gonna be coming with their semantics. You just happen to put yourself out there freely to look stupid. Because what he's saying in a nutshell, Tazariak is saying that the only way that you can divorce your wife is if it's through fornication. So this Edomite is saying, well, what about if she does this? What if she's addicted to crack and robs your entire family? You know, making up all these scenarios. Like you can't divorce her for no other reason except for fornication. I'm like, bro, why are you sitting down with these people? Let me play a little bit more, bro. You got to hear a little bit more of this. Shit.
Because in the Bible, when David was dancing, he just united Northern Kingdom. He just united all 12 tribes. He dancing on the dance floor, getting busy. And as he dancing, I guess his skirt or his garment or whatever showed a little bit, and the ladies was going wild. And then one of his wives complained about it. And he said, I'll get my glory from them that you did not give me. And he put her up in a tower, turned her into Rumpelstiltskin, never had kids with her, never did anything with her. Did you answer my question, though? This is answering your question. So the reason why I can put her away is because of the heinous act in your scenario that she did. Can you put... Wait, why can't I finish answering? Okay, well, how long are you going to filibuster, dude? I just want to get through the questions.
I kind of feel like an Edomite in a sense. It's like, because when you sound confusing, it's like, all right, just say yes or no at this point. All right, let me get some precepts. We might play a little bit more of it, but y'all get the point. All right, we always have to be ready to answer, and they have to be correct answers, because remember, our blood is on the line. All right, and our people's blood is on the line. The Lord has commissioned us to speak His word, and we're supposed to speak it perfectly. Not go out here freestyling whenever you go out, trying to bring the same speaking points from 1992. You know, this is Proverbs 15:28. It says, "The heart of the righteous studieth to answer, but the mouth of the wicked poureth out evil things." You see, we study to answer. You ask us a question like that, we're going to say, yes, you can. Let's go to the law. All right.
And that's what I'm saying. You got these guys that always want to preach the law, but then when the law come up, they don't know what they're talking about. Paul said something. It was either Paul or Peter that said that, right? Mm-hmm. You talk about being masters of the law, but you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to the law. You see? Right. That's what I'm saying. The lessons are out there where it goes into abhorring an Edomite. Mm-hmm. Which the study shows a clerical error, and that Edomite being a Syrian instead, which is a family of the Israelites. You know what I'm saying? But they so proud, and they don't want to study, and they don't want. And when it comes from Great Millstone, they despise it. You see, it don't say that we can. Listen, you notice that they never have precepts when it goes to Deuteronomy 23:7. They never have no precept for it. Why? Because it ain't none, fool.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. If you go into the precepts, you'll realize that that's not the case.
Right.
You see, they can never bring precepts that go with Deuteronomy 23:7, because it ain't none, fool. You see, but the precepts that go into that being Assyrian, you have precepts that can go into that. You can go into the history and everything to come to that conclusion. Yeah. You got it.
Right. This is First Peter chapter 3, verse 15.
It said about study. That precept you just
study
read.
The righteous man studieth to answer.
That's what I'm saying. So this would insinuate that Captain Tazariak is wicked.
Yeah. He doesn't study. He stopped studying after he left Great Millstone. You know, this is First Peter, or First Shemaiwan, that's his Hebrew name. 1 Peter 3:15. It says, but sanctify the Lord your power in your hearts, meaning cleanse your heart. All right, let me actually get this in another translation too. It says, but sanctify the Lord power in your hearts, and be ready always to give an answer to every man that asketh you a reason of the hope that is within you with meekness and fear. So you can tell there's no meekness and fear within him, because those ain't the correct answers. This is what he's being told to say. You know, you don't think Tazariot gets briefed to some degree? I mean, look who he's sitting down with. These guys are on major podcasts. You got this dude. I used to see him with Fresh and Fit a lot. He's on that other one where the Edomites on a show, University, and then you got this guy. You know what I'm saying? So the pride is lifted up in his heart. You know, he's going to comply with them and say whatever he can to make sure the audience is pleased. So they, in his mind, that their attention now will be focused on ISUPK. No, now they just think you're even more mad because you're not making sense.
Yeah, I will say, and even when with that precept that you just brought out, that's talking about somebody sincere. You see,
right?
Those questions from that particular audience will be considered foolish questions that we can avoid.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we don't deal with them like that. You said it earlier. You put yourself in a position to look stupid in front of the world,
right?
And it's not for righteousness' sake. You see, because through the foolishness of preaching with the correct doctrine is how the world is going to be. Is going to see that the Israelites are the Israelites. You see, you got niggas that's chasing the bag with big ass wristbands and want to fight in the park and doing all this goofy ass shit, and then go on the podcast and try to represent. Nah, nigga, that's why you look stupid as hell. You see,
right?
This truth ain't about semantics and what ifs. No, it's very straightforward. You got it.
1 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 8. It says, "But we know that the law is good if a man use it lawfully, knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man, but for the lawless and disobedient, for the ungodly and for sinners, for unholy and profane, for murderers, for fathers and murderers and mothers, for manslayers, for whoremongers, for them that defile themselves with mankind, for men stealers, for liars, for perjured persons, and if there be any other thing that is contrary to sound doctrine, according to the glorious gospel, all right, to our debarment of the blessed power which was committed to my trust." So the law is lawful if a man use it lawfully. So is the doctrine. You know what I'm saying? And doctrine means to teach, the teachings. But you can't teach anything if you're not studying. You can't speak on anything if you're not studying. All right, what does it say? Wisdom out of a fool's mouth. Basically, no matter when it's told, it's always out of season, roughly paraphrasing in the Apocrypha. If a brother want to pull that up on the comment board. But one of the main points was, but we know the law is good if a man uses it lawfully. And they preach and harp on the law, and they're not using it lawfully. They know they're not. Now, this is, to follow that up, this is Proverbs 6 and 23. It says, which that's Yahushua. When I'm saying the law, you got to think of it's Yahushua. All right, because we can't keep all the law, statutes, and commandments. So this is Proverbs 6 or Mashalia in the Hebrew 6 and 23. It says, "For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is a light, and reproofs of instruction are the ways of life." All right. So yes, the law, statutes, and commandments, they're supposed to brighten your steps, but we can't keep all of them. That's what I'm saying. You have to have the mediator there to guide you. And with their talking points, you don't hear anything about Yahushua. Just commanding General Yohana this, commanding General Yohana this, Captain Tazariak this, you know. You may hear the name Yahushua here and there, but these are the same people that are telling you that John the Baptist wasn't in the truth. How can you follow and listen to a man like this?
Because it's in your lot.
Right.
Because it was written for you. You know, see? And that's the beauty of it. You know what I'm saying? That's a part of the fear of the Lord, man. Not only that the Lord can take you out, you know what I'm saying, but the Lord can also make you look foolish. Like Elder Yashawamba said a lot, you know. when it comes to these dudes and how they acting and the way they disrespect the Lord and disrespect the word and all these different things, We be wanting to get hit by a truck or the plane crash. You want to see a nigga get shot on camera and all that shit. No. The Lord took his spirit away from you, and you watching them deteriorate. You see?
Right.
Then the Lord gonna destroy them when it's time. You see? So at the end of the day, man, these guys are doing what it was written in their story to do. You see, if it's written in their story for them to repent, they will.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's not, guess what? These niggas gonna keep on hitting record and saying the dumbest shit you ever heard.
Right.
You got it.
Yeah, they see that red button and all of a sudden they forget the basic stuff that they learned. Like Captain Tazariak was teaching the right stuff at one point in time. You know? It's just that he wasn't getting the accolades and the fame that he wanted. Oh, let me get that scripture too.
Yeah, I was saying not that it's been this long, you know what I'm saying? He been teaching falsehoods longer than he was teaching righteousness.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because he ain't like he finna stop. Yeah.
Fame. Let me type in fame. Praise. Yeah, this is okay, it was Zephaniah 3. Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 19. It says, "Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee." And that's Esau, Edom. Why wouldn't you want to hate or directly speak on? Oh, let me also hold Amos, the first chapter.
Bro, think about what he said. This nigga said it's in our law not to abhor an Edomite. But then you got all these precepts talking about the Lord gonna destroy them, the Lord hate them, right? Do not hate them, O Lord, to hate thee. It's so many precepts that go with the truth. How many times have you heard me say this, Zaquan? When your bitch ass is lying, you run out of precepts every single time. You always run out of precepts when you're not telling the truth. That's why them punk ass niggas can't never give you nothing but Deuteronomy 23:7. If you had an understanding of Deuteronomy 23:7, that's talking about a Syrian, right? Not it's talking about a Syrian, which is a family of the Hebrews, right? Now Edomites is a family of the Hebrews as well. You see, but it's not talking about do not abhor an Edomite, do not avoid. Right? It's really saying do not avoid a Syrian, which is a family of the Israelites, which is a family of the son, which is a portion of the sons of God. Right? Yeah. When it says do not abhor, abhor don't even mean hate. It mean avoid. You see? That's what I'm saying. I can avoid eating vegetables I don't like. Right? I don't eat certain vegetables. That's fine. You see? But this whole thing about trying to put abhor and hate in the same, that's what they don't look their words up.
Right. And that's why it's important to study, man. Because if you don't study, you don't understand words, you have no power. People always say there's power behind the meanings of words. There is. It stops people in their tracks. It convinces gainsayers. You have some people that are just gainsayers and they sincerely just need to know, like, oh, okay, I need to look these words up. But then you have other people, they're just scoffers and scorners. They ain't never gonna get it. That's why they're afraid to look these things up, or if they do know that's true, that makes them even more wicked because they know what's right and they're not teaching it. All right, that's what Scripture says, that they know these words, but they want to do them. They hear them, all right, but they never want to act on these words. And the truth is out there. Let me read this one more time. Zephaniah 3:19 says, "Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that halteth, and gather her that was driven out, and I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame." So they want the fame and praise now. But it's not a coincidence that Tazariak doesn't know the Hebrew breakdown of Deuteronomy 23:7. And the leader of ISUPK, his name is General Yohana. Yohana is not even a Hebrew word. I say this all the time. And I went on their live stream and asked them, I said, what does Yohana mean in Hebrew? He said John. I said, well, can you show me that in the text so I can see it? Because I know the ha and the cha they look similar, and I think that's what's going on. You know.
Yep.
And he said, "No, come to the Hebrew class on Friday. That's where you can get your question answered." And he said, "Don't come to camp because you're not going to get your question answered at camp. So don't come to camp looking for an answer."
So they can't
I
lie
was
to
like,
you on
wow.
camera.
Right. Exactly. But like we like to say, class is camp and camp is class. If you are on the outside and you're listening, it don't matter how long you've been out there. We're gonna look you in your eyes and we're gonna ask you a question. Because we're about edifying. We're not about bullshitting. We're not about trying to get ourselves fame and praise. Yahweh Shah said that he's supposed to get the preeminence. You know? He wasn't going around debating, and didn't say he was reasoning with people. No, he said, "I came to minister, not to be ministered unto." That's the mode that we're in. All right. Now this is Amos. You got something? I got another one.
Go ahead.
This is Amos chapter 1 and verse 11. It says, "Thus saith the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah, for 3 transgressions against Adawam, Edom, the so-called self-proclaimed white man, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof." Meaning he's going to bring mercy upon whoever Edom is being wicked to. And now we're going to see who the punishment is, why he's getting punishment, like I just said. Because he did pursue his brother with the sword. And it's not talking about his brother to the south of him, you know what I'm saying, or his brother to the west or to the east. It's talking about the Israelites that were north of Edom. All right, they were in the womb fighting with him. You know, that he met with hundreds of troops when we were just trying to get to the Holy Land. And Jacob had to separate the families. That's who we're talking about. That's who. It's funny. We abhorred Edom. Jacob abhorred Edom when he met him going back, but we're not allowed to abhor of Edomites. We are. We not only do we abhor Edomites, we hate Edomites. Now we don't abhor Aram. In what form or fashion do we not abhor them? Well, they're not going to be destroyed after they serve slavery. All right. They're not going to be destroyed. Their nation is not going to be a nation that's no longer remembered forever and ever. Esau is the most wicked, man.
What Laban was a Syrian, right?
Yeah, yep. He was the brother of Rebecca was a Syrian.
That's what I'm saying.
Syrian, yeah.
You see? So not abhorring a Syrian, that's how Jacob got his woman.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. You got to know the whole book, man. You got to know the history to understand the mystery, man.
Yeah.
Period. Point blank, bro. You got niggas talk about, bro. How many different camps? How many different camps got the wrong breakdown on do not abhor Edomite? But at the same time, they on the streets calling Esau the devil.
Yeah, that don't make no sense.
So you can call him the devil, but you can't abhor him. So you can call him the devil, but you can't stay away from him.
Can't hate him.
That's what I'm saying. That's why they got blood on their hands, man. Because the true understanding is out there. You see what it say in Romans 11? The election have obtained it, but the rest were blinded. Right? Yeah. That's talking about the elect of Israel and you fringe frauds out there, man.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You not abhorring an Edomite when you sign a 501c3, nigga. You ain't staying away from them. Come on, man. That's what I'm saying. See, that's what I'm saying, man. I'm saying y'all making the Lord madder and madder.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They out there kissing your boots and stuff, but for some reason you don't abhor them. But you let them kiss your boots, though. You know, that looks like a form of put someone in suggestion. Shalom Zaquan.
Shalom Zaquan. Yabashim Ashabrakatah.
Let me read. I'm gonna finish out Zephaniah 3, just finishing off 19. It says, "And I will get them praise and fame in every land where I have put them to shame. And at that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I will gather you, for I will make you a name and praise among all people of the earth." And that name, because when you go to the beginning of any ISGPK video, it says that General Commanding Yohana is the only man been given the order to gather the tribes. Don't say nothing about Yahweh and Yahweh Shah. But the Lord is saying he's gonna give us a name and praise once he gathers us. So the Lord's gonna be magnified first before anyone even knows our real names. You know? How you gonna get a crown and you trying to put a crown? The nigga looked like he got a crown. That's the last. Was that the video? Cesario got that damn headband on with the line, get the door knocker in between his eyes and shit. It looks demonic. You know?
Captain Sorry ass.
Captain Tazari whack, bro.
How do I say captain or what?
Bro.
Captain or what? You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, could somebody get that that precept word talking about the Lord put some teachers, evangelists, pastors, would he give a list?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It don't say nothing about no captains or no generals in there, man. But whatever, man.
Let me see.
Yeah,
First
Corinthians 12. You got it.
No, you go ahead, bro.
Kind of 1 Corinthians 12 and 28. It says, and Yahweh Bashem Yahushua has set some in the church, first apostles, secondarily prophets, thirdly teachers, after that miracles, then gifts of healings, helps, governments, diversity of tongues.
You see, you got you got a list of what the Lord is, the tools that the Lord is utilizing to bring forth this truth. You see, it ain't no captains in there, it ain't no generals in there. You see, but they base their whole ministry off military.
Yeah.
You see,
none of Yahushua's men had those titles.
How about this? The Heavenly Father is a man of war, right? But look who he sent out. You got it.
You want me to keep reading there?
That was a good precept. That wasn't the one I wanted. The one I was talking about was the one where it's the evangel. Just type in evangelist with an S at the end, and it should come up. But the Lord is telling you who he's dealing with. You see, the apostles, the prophets, you know what I'm saying? Then you got those that heal. Then you got those that the Lord set up certain offices. None of those offices have anything to do with generals and captains.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ephesians 4.
Read it.
Ephesians 4, starting at verse 11. It says, and he gave some apostles and some prophets and some evangelists and some pastors and teachers.
That's what I'm saying. Pastors, teachers, evangelists. You see, prophets and apostles. Okay? If you're not prophesying, you're not a prophet. Okay? If you're not looking at the news and telling people what's going on and telling them what to get ready for, according to this word, you're not a prophet. You're a false prophet because it talks about both. You see? Captain Tazariak is a false prophet. He don't know what the hell he's talking about, man. He butchering the law. He ain't prophesying. So what am I? That's what I'm saying. I can't call you a prophet. I won't call you a prophet because that will make me a liar. You see, they don't study. They don't believe in the word. That's what I'm saying. They want to do what they want to do. You see, and it's our job to defend the gospel because that's what I'm saying. If you're gonna tell people they need to keep the law and then you butcher it in front of these Christians, we're gonna say something. Y'all got it.
Look at something up real quick.
Yeah, you got all these fringe frauds out here, man, calling themselves prophets, and that's what I'm saying. You butchering the scriptures. That was the worst thing you can do is go into the law. Getting confounded by Christians, and that's what I'm saying, man. We're not playing semantics with y'all. No, we putting the truth out through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. We ain't got time to be playing with you, man. That's what I'm saying. You roll up talking that you roll up on that BS, man. You gonna have to deal with the cops, bro. You're gonna have to deal with the cops. Straight up.
Yeah.
That's what it ain't no debate. The debate days is over. Go ahead.
Yeah, I remember one time we was on our old camp spot on basically behind the main stadium in DC. We're around the corner from Chinatown. ISUPK and their minions rolled up like they wanted to fight. And you know what it was over? Ruth being an Israelite. They believed that she was an Israelite. We were going back and forth proving that she was a Moabite. And they was like upset. We were like, look, y'all got it. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we came to you. You look like you trying to get carnal. You know, we out here speaking. Now, if Abaratazar would be of the elect, you through. Because that was very offensive. And you putting stumbling blocks in front of new eyes and new ears. You know, if that was to happen again, you're going to have to deal with Babylon.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
Have to deal with Babylon, man. Ain't got time for that.
Have you ever seen a nail win an argument with a hammer?
Right.
You never will, bitch.
Right.
You never fucking will. That's what I'm saying. That was what's that precept in Jeremiah where it talk about this word is fire and this people wood?
Yep, I get it.
That's what's going on, man. You see?
Yeah,
so when you decide to jump in Esau's arena and play his game, you're not gonna win, man. You're not gonna win. Jake B want to go on these platforms so they can fill their own belly and fill up their own wallet and all this stuff. Man, look, man, that's what I'm saying. Just because you're not making that money for the Lord. Lord don't care about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you're doing a terrible job
of money to the Lord, man.
Yeah, you're doing a terrible job of defending the gospel with your fringes on and them weak ass wristbands.
Yeah.
All these crazy ass videos where you tell us. That's what I'm saying. This dude say he spent 2 days with ISUPK. What you think he doing in them 2 days? He gathering intel, fool. That's what I'm saying. Which one of them kings was that told that brought the heathen in, showed them everything he got, and then they took all the shit?
He's doing vlogs. You allow
unbelievers.
Allow unbelievers to come in and do vlogs. That don't make no sense.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. If spiritually we at war, right? If this was a physical war, these other Israelites would get everybody killed. It wouldn't be no Israelites left. You invite the heathen in and do whatever they want for days at a time.
Right.
You messing over the doctrine. Bro, you niggas ain't gonna have no covering. Go ahead.
Yeah, you keep quoting setting in the defense of the gospel in Philippians 1:17. All right, but when you setting something, you locked in, man. Like Laquan Monaghan was bringing out earlier in Proverbs. All right, that hey, we supposed to be studying to be able to give an answer. All right, when you doing all this extracurricular activities and shit, podcasts, blogging, all this other shit, you're not locked in to studying, man. Okay, the reason we study is why the scripture says so we can have an answer. So when you do run across one of these Christians or one of these Edomites that's trying to bring in carnal logic into a spiritual book, all right, you can go straight to the book and break it down. You can go to the precept. Okay, we're in the law. This is what is stated. Okay, this is that. But when you're not locked into studying, all right, you focused on whatever you're trying to do to obtain whatever fucking fleshly desires you have, all right, you're not going to be able to give answers. So you do get caught out there looking stupid, all right, because you're not locked in, man. All right, you studying so you can go cut somebody or prove a point versus studying to edify, man.
Bro, you see that nigga playing and keying with them heathen on that one picture? He had a table. He on a panel full of what appeared to be Edomites.
Yeah.
You see? Rubbing elbows with the heathen nigga, back teeth showing and shit. That's what I'm saying. What are you doing? What are you doing? No, the nigga ate pizza and wings with the niggas. Oh no, I don't want the pepperoni. Shut the fuck up.
Right.
He brought his own pepperonis.
Yeah, he brought turkey pepperoni. Glue this to the cheese pizza for me. I don't trust no Edomites. What are you talking about?
Yeah, General Yohana face on the bag.
That's what I'm saying, man. Look, hey, at the end of the day, man, if you don't have an understanding of these prophecies and of these scriptures and you're not bringing it out, you doomed. Straight up. Especially if you got your fringes on with your chest fucking poked out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. That precept where the Lord say, I never knew you get from around me. Yeah, who you think he talking to? Who you think he talking to? Well, I was out there prophesying. No, you wasn't. You was out there losing debates. Yeah. You was out there losing debates in the name of Christ. Go ahead, man.
I got that precept. It's Jeremiah or Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 14. It says, "Wherefore thus saith the Lord, power of hosts." All right, Yahweh Tazabah Waf, about Shemiah Shai. Because you speak this word, behold, I will make my words in thy mouth fire, and this people wood, and it shall devour them. Tazariah is not devouring anybody with these answers that he's giving. If anything, people are they're winning. You know, these words are supposed to cut deep. Hey, Shalom Zakwan, Yabashima Shabbat.
Shalom, Zakwan, Yabashima.
When you get a very basic question, all you need to do is get the sincere milk of the word to chop that thing up. But Jake is looking for these big, deep answers and breakdowns, and that's why they be fumbling. You know, when they see that red button come on, and that podcast begins, the spirit leaves him. I mean, not that he ever had it, you know, but any of these Israelites, you know.
Yeah, I kind of I'm kind of grasping what you were speaking about, but I did come across that clip with Trezariah speaking to that guy, and he was basically saying that he tried to use Deuteronomy where it says don't abhor an Edomite, and a lot of times it behooves brothers to look up that word abhor, which means to detest. It don't just means to hate. And then secondly, that word Esau there was a translation. It's supposed to be a rum man, but they don't even go that deep, because in this world you got to be. And it takes me back to his leader Yohana when he was on the Action 6 News in Philadelphia.
That's what it was.
And he was on Action 6 News, and he said, "We don't hate white people. God hates white people, right? But King David says, don't I hate those that hate thee?" And the Lord created Esau to be a vessel of hatred, right? This is the reason why not only he shows hatred to us, but also he's that vessel to be hated. And a lot of times groups like IUIC, ISUPK, particularly speaking about ISUPK right now because of Cesariot, they're trying to be world-friendly Israelites, right? We're not trying to be world-friendly Israelites. It's all about the truth, right? And I'm not gonna negate the truth to appease somebody's feelings. And that's what ISUPK does. That's what Tazariot does. He's talking about you only supposed to hate Esau if he do something against you that warrants the hatred. Everything Esau does is warranted to fucking be hated. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, we ain't in that time to be embracing.
He said it's in the law.
No, it's not in the law. That's not in the law at all, right? So real quick, this is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 1. A time for everything. It says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. And I'm going to skip down. Verse 3, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. I thought it said a time to love, a time to hate. But the point of the matter is, it's a time for everything, and we're not in the time to embrace our enemies. And that's the thing. Esau, he wants Jake to think that you don't have no enemies, even though he's like the greatest enemy to you. But all these nations are our enemies. We're supposed to love each other. Yahweh Shai said, you shall know my disciples by the love they have for one another. And you got to know what time you in. That's all. That's all I want to know. I don't mean to be so long with the Salaki is going.
Yeah, keep on going, brother.
Be all, man. Like there's no production out of that action, man. Now, for argument's sake, say every Edomite on that panel said, "Okay, you guys are the Israelites. This is the truth." What the fuck does that change? All right, that's not gonna change nothing, man. Prophecy is still gonna play out the way the Most High has it set. All right, these devils are still gonna be destroyed and put in captivity. All right, 2/3 of our people are gonna be put to death here on the shores of America. All we need to be doing is talking about prophecy, man. We don't have no business interacting with these goddamn devils, man. So they can make mockery of the word.
And that's all they do. Because at the end of the day, if you're not standing on this truth in front of your enemies, then what are you doing? Right? Did King David ever set up a panel with Edomites and discuss whether who he was, or whether no? What the fuck? These people are beneath you, right? That's why I like King Jaffe Joe's spirit, man. In that movie, he was like, I'm not going to apologize to this man or his daughter. They are beneath me. And you got to understand that. You got to understand that these nations are beneath you. They treat you like you beneath them. He was on a panel where I think it was a bunch of Edomite, Amalekite kids. It wasn't even no grown-ass people there where you could sit and have an open dialogue or some type of understanding with you. You there with children, man. But he's a podcast prophet. And he's profiteering. He got his gun.
Let me say this about ISUPK real quick. Y'all talking all this real nigga shit. I'm gonna tell you something about real niggas. Real niggas make horrible soldiers. And if any of you niggas is watching this, let that shit sink in. Real niggas make horrible fucking soldiers, man. Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, look at Chicago. Where all them YNs go. Look at Memphis. You know, they send all them troops, all them soldiers in there. Where they all go? You know, all those like disappeared. Right.
Yeah, the Lord didn't say nothing about captains, generals, real niggas, none of that shit.
Yeah, Yahweh Shah let you know that if this was my kingdom, my servants would fight. It ain't that time, man. Until we see the most miraculous things we've ever seen in the form of Yahweh Shah returning in his glory, hey, we ain't thinking about getting carnal. We got fucked up knees, bad backs, fucking carpal tunnel and shit. The fuck we look like thinking we gonna be some military-minded people, man. All right, Jake can't plan a cookout together no more. Let alone you gonna take down a whole kingdom, man. Shut the fuck up, man.
We waiting on spiritual power. We waiting on spiritual power like a motherfucker, bro. I'm like, yo, what is that gonna kick in? Because I need it.
Yeah, Jake fighting. Jake learning how to fight in the park once a month. You got to fight through base and all that shit, man. Y'all ain't ready. Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Shit, niggas probably fighting through that pepper spray to get his plate.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. You get through the obstacle course, you get a plate. You get your first piece of land with a Letterman jacket.
Hell no.
I got a couple
motherfucking all that black. Sweat like a motherfucking all that fucking black with a book bag on, bro. What you doing, guys? No, this ain't serious, bro. See, the thing is, a lot of these jokers, they stuck in 1992. That's the kind of shit they was doing in the 90s. I wasn't even around back then, but I can only imagine the kind of life that these dudes. And then, you understand, we're trying to bring order to Jake. I get it, the kung fu, the martial arts, the running back and forth and shit. But at the end of the day, man, you gotta ask yourself: was this something the prophets of the old doing? Because that ain't in the scriptures, bro.
Right.
It's just like watching a movie. Like niggas adding shit to the movie, scenes to the movie. It's one thing to ad lib a line or two, but Jake is adding a whole fucking scene to the movie that ain't even in there. It's called this going over production. It's like we arguing about budgets now. Like, bro, like no, all you gotta do is preach the word. Paul said, preach the word, be instant in season and out of season, bro. It's funny. Yeah, it's funny when we talk about it, but in reality, you think Yahweh outside laughing at this kind of shit? No. Because the point is, he told Ezekiel, go out there and speak to the people, give them my word. Right? Hear from me and give them my word. That's a serious thing, bro. You know, but like Jake, and it's like with anything, Jake finds something, oh, it's a hustle now. Oh, I can make this. I can bring this. I'm going to bring the old ways back. It's a reason why Yahweh Shai dismantled One West. Right? It's a great reason for that. Yes, great men came out of that. The truth came out of that. It served its purpose. It served its time. But now we at the end of this thing, brother. We ought to be out there standing on our post preaching.
preaching. Jeremiah wasn't
right.
playing no games. Isaiah wasn't playing no fucking games. You think Jonah was playing a game when he was up in that fish belly for all them days, man? He wasn't thinking like, oh yeah, let me go get my book bag. You know, he didn't want to preach. He didn't want to prophesy. He like, no, because he knew what kind of life that brought. And I guess he was scared. But the Lord shook him up good enough where he did his job. You don't want your How About Shah to shake you up to do your fucking job, bro.
That's right.
I had a quick precept. If anybody ain't know had anything.
Yeah, I got one after you, bro.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll follow up with y'all.
I'm sorry, say that again, Zaquan.
No, go ahead. You got it.
Khan, this is this is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the pulling down of strongholds. In the NLT, it says, we use the Most High's mighty weapons, not worldly weapons, to knock down the strongholds of human reasoning and to destroy false arguments. Right? And what is the weapons of our warfare? It's the word, the spirit. The scripture says that this word is like a two-edged sword, cutting asunder. You know what I mean? So it's like, this is what we're supposed to be doing to be knocking down that reasoning. Now, when you look up the term for reasoning, the definition for reasoning, the definition for reasoning is the action of thinking about something in a logical, sensible way. You know what I'm saying? So the ways that it says right here, to knock down the strongholds of human reasoning. The way Jake reasoned in the world, it built strongholds for Jake. He was into Christianity. He was into the Islam shit. He was into anything that was floating around. And that was a stronghold for Jake. But through the spirit and power, Yahweh Shah, through this truth, we knock down those strongholds. We cut that shit up. And that ain't it. That's not the way. Right? The scripture says you shall hear a voice from the left and the right, saying, what? Here ye to follow this way. This is the way. Right? This is the way. Christianity is not the way. And that's hard trying to reason with a nigga. Like, I saw some niggas really, if I'm from Philadelphia, bro. A lot of people don't know that because they see me out here in Hawaii. I'm from Philadelphia, bro. And that Islam shit was like a fucking brick wall, a steel wall in Philly. Everybody's a Muslim. Or everybody dibbled and dabbled in that shit. Now I'm trying to reason with a nigga that's a Muslim, like, yo, bro, we not Muslims, bro. That we the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. That's a hard reason to deal with. Like, you know what I mean? Most of the time you're like, all right, bro, you got it, and just walk away. Because niggas ain't gonna, you can't, but yet and still we use this truth to deal with that, to combat that reasoning, that you're reasoning completely wrong. This is the right way. You got us, Quan.
I got something. This Isaiah 54:17. It says, no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. And it's good that you said that, because, you know, Jake, if you're not coming in with the reasoning or the mindset of how Yahushua used to attack the onslaught of, you know, the lies and the questions that used to come at him, it's going to be very difficult to condemn all these idle words that rise up, because that technically that was a weapon that was formed against Tazariak, and he failed horribly. All right. Now it says that
Again.
Yeah, again, by the way, because it's a montage. I had like 2 or 3 other clips of him failing. And it says,
does it all the time.
Every tongue that thou shalt rise against thee, thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of us. So this is engraved in our lineage. This is part of our legacy, correcting the wrongs. Remember, it said the law was a lamp and a light unto our feet for corrections and reproof. You know, so a lot of people, they get tired of us hearing and talking about these other guys, but no, we have to point them out. All right, these are breaches. Remember, yeah, we have war. This is a breach. You're going to walk around looking confused. Somebody's going to come and ask you the question. You're not going to have the answer. I'm talking to the novices and the Akim out there, you know, newer listeners. You're looking at Deuteronomy 23:7. You know the videos, but if somebody was to come to you and ask the question, you wouldn't have the precepts, you know. That's why we always say that class is camp and camp is class. You can't be out there not knowing that you not confident that you're a master teacher. We're supposed to be master teachers of these scriptures. All right, we don't go out there and put our lives on the line to fumble the bag, whether it's a Edomite with a mic and a big TV camera, or it's just some random person going by. It says that is within you, you know, that we're supposed to answer these questions.
And real quick, this is the book of 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 15. But sanctify the Lord in your hearts, and be ready always to give an answer to every man that asketh you a reason of the hope that is in you with meekness and fear. In the NLT it says, let me read verse 14. But even if you suffer for doing what is right, the Most High will reward you for it. So don't worry or be afraid of their threats. Instead, you must worship Hamashiach as Lord of your life. And if someone asks about it says Christian, but if someone asks about your anointed hope, always be ready to explain it. Right? People ask you, like, why you hope this? Why you think the way you think? Well, then you explain it. Hey, look, man, we the Israelites, the Bible speaks of Yahushua sacrifice was for us, right? And so at the end of the day, the reason why I'm hoping to make it to the kingdom of heaven, and the same hope is in you if you believe, bro. Like, that's how you supposed to explain it. People see the way you living in Yahushua, you got to explain that. Like Tazari, I walk around with the fringes and stuff on, looking like a 1994 stripper, you know what I mean, with all the fringes and shit hanging off. But somebody should ask you, like, yo, why you wear that? Well, this is the reason why, man. I'm an Israelite. We follow laws and commandments. I ain't saying you got to walk around with it on, but I'm just saying, like, at least explain it. Well, why do you think that? Instead of, reinforcing the negative. Y'all know that I don't know who I was talking to last week about this, but one of the bros, we were talking about how they got they have what do you call it when you merchandise? They got merchandise, real nigga university merchandise, bro.
Oh yeah.
Right? They really that's something they push. Real nigga university. And then he says that the Most High is a nigga. Right?
Yeah, a
nigga God, bro. Come on, bro. Like, you just totally off, man. At this point, you're not even being spiritual about it. Outwardly, you claiming to be an Israelite, but inwardly, bro, you just trying to make a buck, bro. And you just trying to be a part of something that you think is moving, toward fame and money. You know what I mean? The scripture says, why thou trimmest thy ways to seek love. Yeah. These niggas is trimming their ways to seek love. They already got the 501c3 charter. So that's why they got to have the drug campaign. They got to have the AA meetings, The
prison ministry.
What's that?
You got the prison ministry.
Yeah, the prison ministry, bro. We ain't in no fucking. We already in prison. Hey, Malcolm X is right when he said that. That's what America means. Prison. You know what I'm saying? That's what this shit is. That's the truth.
Like pen pals and shit.
Yeah, what the fuck is you doing, bro? Trying to change. You got niggas locked up for horrible things. Now you can repent. But bro, you up and behind the walls, bro. I'm not trying to minister to nobody that's behind the wall, bro. It's like, nah. Plus, over there, the Muslims, they running the Muslims and the Mexican mafia and the Edomite gangs, they running shit. They ain't trying to hear this truth. Niggas is locked up. We talking about we going to the prisons out here, bro. Like, yo, you in a prison in your mind, bro.
Right.
Your mind is a prison. Yeah, man.
Yeah. That's what the scripture says, let their table be made a snare. It's talking about
you had a couple precepts, Yagadar, didn't you?
Yes, on the back up, Laquan Gabor. There's 2 Timothy 1:8 in the NLT. It says, so never be ashamed to tell others about our Lord. Now, in order for you to confess Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you got to be studied, man. Okay, you can't explain what the Lord is about. You got to be able to break down. No, if you're talking about, we can't hate Edomites, then you can't properly explain Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay, because they designed to set them up to specifically be the sons of the wicked, man. Okay, so if you're gonna talk about the Lord, you're gonna talk about who's in His favorite, which is the nation of Israel. All right, you're gonna talk about who is in his opposition, which is the nation of Edom. Okay, and then the rest of the heathens he set at naught, man. They're as like a spittle. Okay, but like you quoted, man, you trimming your ways to seek love from the world, man. All right, from the podcast world, from the fucking internet world, man. No, all we gonna do when we hit that button and turn this camera on, we're gonna talk about Yahweh Shemi Shai and the will of the Heavenly Father, man.
That's right.
Okay, but I'm gonna finish this out. It says, and don't be ashamed of me either, even though I am in prison for him. You niggas is ashamed of Paul as well, man. All right, you're ashamed of the Heavenly Father's law. You're ashamed of Paul. You really don't want to teach the truth of the scriptures, man, because you're worried about how can it affect what you're trying to gain personally, or who is going to offend and stop your money or your attention, man. All right, we didn't get this knowledge, wisdom, understanding to be attention whores, man. Okay, we were set, all right, for a specific job, man. All right, to bring glory and reverence back unto the names of Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, man. Okay, and announce the end of his kingdom and the kingdom to come. All right, it says, with strength, Yahweh Shai gives you, be ready to suffer with me for the sake of the good news, which is the gospel, man. All right, so we're not supposed to shy away from the spirit of prophecy. We're not supposed to cut corners when it comes to the doctrine, okay, because we worried about how it's going, how people are going to perceive it. No, it's supposed to ruffle feathers. All right, we're supposed to be hated for what we teach. All right, not loved by the fucking world. I don't want to get close to no gutter rats. I don't want to sit on the panel next to no fucking Edomites playing games, man. Looking for a laugh or something to mock about. This is the most serious thing in the world, man.
Yeah, well, that's why they don't take Jake seriously, man. That's why in this world, it's really difficult for Jake to be taken seriously on a serious vibration because Jake always fucking playing.
How can you be taken serious with a door knock on your fucking forehead?
He had one of them shits
Bro,
on his
I
head.
wish I could find that photo. Yes, bro.
Well, yeah,
that shit.
It's a video.
Ain't nobody gonna answer the door to that motherfucker.
It's a video with him at the. It's the video with him on the panel.
With the gutter rat and the little young Edomite, he's in a whole character. It's not even a serious platform to be even trying to speak about the scriptures, man. All right.
Yeah, I saw that picture.
Yeah, that's not the door we supposed to be knocking at.
I would say, but the scriptures talk about prophets and false prophets, man. You know, and it's also a precept. I can't think of where it is.
I got you right here.
Okay, done.
Can somebody? I'm going to share my screen, Baba Kasha.
Let me see. They had a screen, bro. Click me all the fucking way out.
I'm going to present right here. Yeah.
I might not be able to do it. My Wi-Fi acting up. I'm broadcasting through my phone and shit.
Oh, okay. He can't share it. That's the moderator allows you to share. But anyway, let me see. Yeah, if it ain't gonna, I got the link. Hold on. I got the link on my phone. Give me a second.
Yeah, you might just have to read it.
Yeah, I got you. Oh no, I was trying to share the image of Cesariot. You said he had a door knock on his joint right here. Give me a quick second. Let me turn this off.
Yeah, I got it too. This dude, man.
Yeah, because man, Jake is going out in costumes, man. All right, we keep our garment in our bags, all right, ready to teach, man. But we not. What do you got? A fucking duffel bag with armbands and headbands and shit? Yeah,
that's
right
it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so y'all can't really see it that good. It's a little blurry, so Salaki.
No,
the dude with the hair, the little young guy, he'd be on Fresh and Fit and shit. He's all over, but he makes mockery of things, man. Like the whole time he's sitting there playing with the matzo bread, taking pieces and throwing it.
Are we so?
The fucking Edomite next to Captain Dazariak, he's playing sleep the whole time.
Right.
Yeah. So it looks like it. I
You
maybe
symbol is black. My question.
Bro, that's too much, man. Why would you?
Was Jesus symbol is black? My question is, why are we so stuck in this? Why does it really matter? That's part of his whole religion, I guess.
No, it's not actually. We just follow the truth of the Bible. The only reason we have to establish the identity of anybody in the Bible is because Edomites or Europeans came and changed what they were.
Why would you assume we're from Europe?
Where else are you from? I remember Helen Thomas was a news reporter, Washington, D.C. for like 50 years, and she said, y'all should go back home. And they asked her, they said, where's home at? She said, Poland, Russia, and Germany. They fired her that night.
So
that's
a
where
couple
you guys from. Y'all are not originally from the Middle East.
I actually have family from Spain. We are
Yeah.
Look how quiet he sounds. That's too much, bro.
I'm sorry, brother. What'd you say, Zaquan?
No, I'm just saying the way that he sounds. It's like, why are you? He's talking all timid from a point of no authority. It's like, you can see it's that scripture where it says, "Why trimmest down thy way to seek love?" That is like jumping off the pages right there. You know.
Yes. So, and that's the Salaki. So I didn't cut your wisdom. So,
no, I was done.
I was gonna say, like, and that's the thing is like we gotta constantly prove who we are. But when you take a honest look at all the true information that's out there before any of us on this panel was even born, it was there. It was set up, right? See, like a lot of things that them small hats they try to exclude, they do exclude is the impact that what they call Moors, blacks, Jews. Because we weren't called blacks back then. We would call Moors, Jews, Christians, Muslims, right? Mainly in the Moorish sense, right? The impact that our people had. We changed the makeup of that. There would be no Sephardic Jew had it not been for the admixture of the black so-called Moorish Jew along with them dealing with the European women over there. Because 7/11 AD, when Jake really rolled over there and started taking that shit over and that Muslim vibration shit, they changed the makeup of that whole area. Portugal, Spain, Italy, all of that shit was Jake. It was Jake, right? And then you not only you had Jakes that were in Islam, you had Jakes that knew they were Israelites, so they were doing the Jew thing. You had Jakes that was in the Christianity, meaning that they believed in the Messiah. These are Israelites that broke off from the branch of the Orthodox Jew. And they're following the Messiah. Yeah. That totally gets negated, right? Because the only reason why people talk about these small hats is because they empower, so they control the narrative, right? You see, the first thing that dude ran to was like, "Oh, I have relatives that are from Spain." Why did he say that? When Cesariak was talking about Yahweh Shai being the so-called black man, why did he say I have people that's from Spain? Spain is in Europe, nigga. It's in the Mediterranean. That's part of Europe today. Why do you say that? Because Jake was in there tearing that shit up, right? You know what I mean? So the point of the matter is that, and it's crazy that we even talking about this topic, because I'll go to ChatGPT and I have great conversations with ChatGPT on reasoning about certain things, man. And I had recently, if you won't mind me, allow me to share this real quick.
Oh, Cook, Zaquan, cook.
I was this is all from this conversation that I had with ChatGPT it stemmed from something that Godfrey, the comedian, said about the word ghetto came from Spain, from Venice, Italy. The word ghetto is actually an Italian word, ghetto, right? And it was because in the 1500s you had a whole bunch of Jakes got rounded up and tossed into this island called the Ghetto of I forget the whole name of it. But anyway, I said this right here, and I'm gonna go to the point. Right here, there's a lot, so I'm just trying to go to the point. I have to scroll all the way up to the very damn. We was on this motherfucker rap. It says so. This is the question I had. So if it's fair to say that the modern black person this is it. So right here. So is it fair to say that if a modern black person were in Venice or Portugal, they could be confused or compared to a Jew at that time? And the answer was yes. That's absolutely fair and historically accurate to say. If a modern black person, especially of a medium or deep brown complexion, had walked through Venice, Lisbon, or Seville in the 1500s through the 1600s, local Europeans, particularly from the north, could and very realistically have mistaken them for or compared them to a Jew, a Moor, or a Portuguese. Contemporary writers literally made that comparison. As you already pointed out, J.A. Rogers emphasized several Dutch, English, and French travelers in the 16th and 17th centuries wrote that the Jew, the Portuguese, and the Negro may be seen in the same person. That wasn't poetic. It was a description of visible similarities. They were saying these groups overlap phenotypically, skin tone, hair texture, facial features. In other words, to the average European eye, the Sephardic Jew expelled from Spain or Portugal, the Portuguese with Moorish ancestry, the African or Negro living or trading in Iberia could all look close enough to be classed together. The Jew of Venice were largely Sephardic and Levantine. By 1516, when the Venetian ghetto was established, most of the Jews there were Sephardic from Sephardic from Spain, Portugal, and North Africa. Levantine from the Ottoman Empire, Syria, Palestine, Egypt, and Turkey. The description from the Venetian records and Northern European visitors regularly called these Jews black, tawny, swarthy, brown, or sunburnt, Eastern-looking, or Moorish. These are the exact same adjectives applied to African, Arabs, and Southern Iberians at the time. So yes, the northern travelers as a darker complexion African or Afro-descendant person could absolutely be mistaken for a Jew because both were seen as Southern, Semitic, or foreign in appearance. It says the Iberian Mediterranean were multi-ethnic. It says this, the Portugal and the Spain especially, the population had centuries of mixture with Moors, Northern African, Berbers, and Arabs. Jews had lived there since antiquity, intermarrying locally. Africans, enslaved and free, were part of the cities by the 1400s. So it says right here, so you had a continuum of brown skin tones from lighter tawny to nearly black, all part of everyday life. Foreign travelers often couldn't and didn't try to distinguish between them precisely. Thus, in Lisbon and Venice in 1550, a dark-skinned traveler from Africa or the diaspora could easily be taken for a local Jew and vice versa.
That just goes to show you why the Lord went down in Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Paul mistaken for an Egyptian. John, who else was up? Paul was mistaken for an Egyptian. Seeing those similarities in those people. You see, even when you go back to the Lord does put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel.
Yeah,
that look. You see, so it carried all the way up to the Dark Ages.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? To now,
which they don't even talk about the Dark Ages.
Exactly.
I've been to college. I did my own research on my own, like literally. You know, people be like, I did my research. No, bro, I got my own small library, right, of books on top of books, like all of us do. And it points out to like, yo, like the Middle Ages, we was running that shit. We had it on lock. Not everybody was a nobleman. Just like today, not all of us are noblemen, right? But you had Jakes that was very learned and literate back then. You had Jakes that was ruling, that was getting what they call today money, right? They had power, they had influence, right? So, but they never talk about that. How many books we have brought out and improved this, but nobody listens. But then when the white man start talking, I have my own, I go back to Sephardic Jews and all this other weirdo shit. And they probably do. I ain't negating that. But what I will say is that these Jake Tazariak not learned, bro. For him to sit across the table and talk to them guys like that, you know, not even having to use a word of a bravado of authority, but he doesn't speak from authority because logically he's not an authority, right? When it comes to the history, when it comes to putting a pattern together through the Bible and applying it to what's going on in real life, he's not an authority, right? He's an authority to Negro culture. He's tall and imposing, but that's all he got, right? He knows scripture. He's a novice, lifted up with pride, you know.
He's a nobleman of the 2/3.
That's right, Ellie.
He's the Baron of the 2/3.
Baron Tazariot. But no,
they don't talk about no barons either.
Yeah, I'm saying shit about no barons. Those dukes. They talk about them dukes of Edom. But yeah, outside of that, nah, bro. The crazy thing is, like, and I get frustrated sometimes too, bro, because I do a lot of research, and it don't take much. It's just a couple buttons on a command on a computer. But the point of the matter is, I get mad sometimes because it's like, yo, Jake, you don't even hear that. I did a lesson on this. I actually brought it out. But the point of the matter is that Jake don't go that far. And when you start talking like this, Jake start nodding off, getting tired. But like, bro, this is a part of our history. It's a great part of our history that's negated. This is the reason why the small hats can supersede Jake when they get to talking. Because people really believe that these Edomites was living in that land from antiquity, which they were. He was wrong when he said that they don't go back to the Middle East. He's a lie. Them Edomites, they were living in the fucking in the mountains, right? They were living in and ruling, and they infiltrated our lineage all throughout that area in the Levant, right?
Yeah, through the Ottoman Empire, getting up into the papistry. That's why people always say, well, King James was a black man. Well, then how did he allow slavery to happen? You know, well, he didn't have no power. You know? It wasn't
even, and you know, it's not even so much that King James didn't have any power. A great example is like this: the Jake in Europe didn't look at Jake in West Africa as the same people, even though we had similar complexion and tone. Jake in Europe was living, and niggas in Africa, they was in Africa. So that's why you had when you read that book, Nation of Color Line, it tells you that the Jew didn't come from the slave didn't come from it said the slave. I wish I had this book. Give me a quick second. Oh. Yeah, right here. I got you. Right here. It's the book Nature Knows No Color Line. And in it, right here, I got the page pulled right up. Yeah. This is off of page 65. It says, as regards to Christian Spain, Portugal, Negroes were imported in droves from 1440 until the abolition of slavery in Portugal in 1773. Already before the discovery of America, says Fernando Ortiz, several thousand of Negro slaves had been expatriated from Senegal, Guinea, and the Congo, and were working in Lesbos, in Algarve, in Seville, and in all Andalusia. The Catholic sovereigns were dealers in Negro slaves. It was Christopher Columbus who went plundering in Negro slaves in Guinea before stealing Indian slaves in Cuba. Before the discovery of America, the Negroes already were cutting sugarcane in Andalusia and Seville. There was a municipal council of native Negroes with fraternal orders, kings, and overseers. The Negro came first to the Indies from Spain, not from Africa. So the Indies is what? The West Indies. We're talking about Jamaica, St. Thomas, St. Kitts, all of that area, Cuba, right? What do they call it? Well, because Columbus didn't hit that area just yet, but they came. But when they came from he already conquered it. Why I know that's because he said the Negro came to the Indians. It says the Negroes. Let me read that again. It says the Negro came first to the Indies from Spain, not from Africa. And why did they come from Spain? Because they had already came from Senegal, Guinea, and they were already up there. That's where you got the Negro favorites. When Esau started coming into power under notable rulers like what's the nigga name? Cesare Borgia's father, Rodrigo Borgia.
Borgia.
Yeah, his daughter Lucrezia, she had favorites. She had a Negro favorite boy that came. He was already up there. So, and he was a Jakes that was doing this shit. It wasn't so much that King James didn't have power. It was just that it was just like today. In America, you don't look at Jake in West, unless you're in the truth. They don't look at Jake in West Africa as the same Negroes. In the 80s, when they was having that fucking famine in Ethiopia, Jake in America wasn't looking at them Hamites or Jakes or even Hamites that were over there as the same people. It was like we were different people. And that's what was happening. So again, it says, and I'm not negating anything you're saying, I'm just like correction on that. It's just that again, it says right here, the Negro came first to the Indies from Spain. So when they were importing Jake over there to work that sugar cane in the West Indies, they was coming not only from Spain, but they were coming from Europe too, Ireland, Scotland, all of that. So it says the Negro came first to the Indies from Spain.
Big business at the time. That was everybody was conversion to slave trade. That was a big business at the time, man.
It was big
so that
business.
Whole region was partaking in it.
Yeah, and Jake was doing it too. Queen Elizabeth came before King James.
Yeah,
King James inherited the kingdom from Queen Elizabeth, and she was a black woman, and she was already dealing in black bodies. But anyway, Esau got up in there. Once he got up in there, it was a wrap, right? So it says the Negroes came first from the Indies to the Indies from Spain, not from Africa. And the Ulysses D. Acunha said of Brazil, the mulatto was not made in America. He came to us already made from the mother country. The African Negro slave trade was more abundant during the 15th and 16th centuries. That's the 1400s and the 1500s for the peninsula than for America. In one city like Erovia, Portugal, the Negroes undeniably exceeded the whites. Several thousand of Wolof, Mandingo, Guinea, and Congo slaves entered Lisbon and Seville each year and were sold for the cities in the fields of South Iberia, and without the bestial prejudice which afterwards were current in the American societies. Esau, we know that Esau, he's not an originator of nothing. He just jumped on a bat. The Portugal slave trade lasted from 1440 to 1773. That is over 300 years.
Yeah,
that's over 333 years, bro.
Yeah, and during that period of time, a lot of our so-called leadership, like King James and Edwards, like who got his head chopped off. A lot of our so-called Moorish or Israelite kings and the monarchs, they were getting offed. Yeah, whether it was from other Jakes, them just fighting each other, or Edomites coming in and getting up in there and destroying it.
Yeah, you had something called a 100-year war. That's indicative to the Crip and Blood situation over there in California from 1979 all the way up until this present day, 40 plus years. These niggas was fighting each other over a jacket and a bitch, dying. And that's what Jake was doing back then. And then you can't forget, King James family had a civil war, right? His daughter, was it daughter Mary? I believe it was either Mary or his daughter Anne. King James II had a daughter. I believe it was named either Mary or Anne. I believe it was Anne, but Queen Anne. They was beefing with each other. Yeah, it was Queen Anne because she married her cousin William of Orange, and they were beefing with her father. That's why that bitch died obese and childless. Right? That's the kind of shit that was going on in the Middle Ages. A lot was happening for Jake to fall out of power and be infiltrated by them Edomites, man. You know what I'm saying? So you had Jake, they call it the Great, I believe it's called the Great Revolution, and a good book to watch, a good book to read. You ain't got to buy it. It's online for free, and the PDF version is the Life and Times of John Mackey. I'm sorry, the Secret Service of John Mackey. And he goes into that in that book. You know what I'm saying? And then Jake was ruler. So, because a lot of people like to romanticize the Middle Ages. But it was just nothing but continual beef and shit.
Cutthroat
Shit. And they was fighting off the wild men too. They was fighting off them Edomites from the woods in Germany. So it was a lot of shit going on. And Esau, even though he wasn't in power, he was still there. Just like today, I'm in Japhet land. They ain't in power, but they still here. You know, anytime you see a Japhet woman and you get with her, knock her up, have a couple kids with her, now you got this going on. So yeah, but it's like times. But Jake had 1,000-year rule, period, and it wasn't a romantic time. It wasn't a good time to be an Israelite. You know.
And for the past 15 minutes, we've been going into history. You see, and all this history that the brother just went through, it lines up with the scriptures.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And that's what we started this lesson with. You know, you got to be studied up to have an understanding to defend the gospel, man. You see, when you got all kind of other stuff going on outside, I would say that I'm not gonna act like all we do is study. You know what I'm saying? We got lives, we got things that we do. We got to take care of our business and take care of our families too. But having the Lord to open up the understanding of the scriptures, like He did for the disciples back in Luke 24 and 44. It said then He opened up their understanding of the scriptures. You see, it's this understanding of the scriptures that's been given to us that we defending the gospel with, that we swinging this sword, that we got the breastplate and the helmet and the shield and all the whole armor of the Most High. You see, Jake in a spiritual war, butt naked. You see, that's what I'm saying. If this was a literal physical war, them niggas would get all us killed, man.
Yeah,
man. It's so much, and you know that's the thing. Like Esau did a good job on Jake, preventing Jake from reading. You know what I mean? We got the social media, we got this internet, we got access to all this information, but nobody really tapped into it. And a lot of this information is hidden in books, like the scriptures.
I was saying, get Romans 11 and 7, Baba Kashar.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 11, verse 7. Romans 11 and 7. It says, you want to read it, Zaquan, Yagadal, or I can read it. It's up to you.
Yeah, I got it. This Romans 11 and 7. What then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded.
And that's plain and simple, man. That's why you got an elect and you got a 2/3, because that's talking about the nation of Israel, man. Everybody stumbled. I would say everybody in Israel that know that they Israelites, they stumbled upon the truth. You see, and then you have the parable of the sower. It gives you a description of what happened to all the Israelites that got a hold of His word. You know what I'm saying? Some of them got offended quick. Some of them lasted for a little while. Some of them didn't. It gives you a description. We don't got to get it. You know what I'm saying? But when you get a hold of this word, it's only two outcomes. You're either gonna receive it or you're not gonna receive it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And every man got to be fully persuaded in his own mind, and clearly 2/3 are not. You see? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the thing is, if you're not fully persuaded in your own mind, why you teaching? To fill your own belly. See, so we can get to asking all these questions, and we can come down to the point. Come down to the common denominator is that the Lord chose you to be made to be taken and destroyed.
Yeah, that's it. Well, you know, it's like what I was saying earlier. You know, when Jake finds something, it's like a lick. You know how when Jake everybody start running to it, and then the Lord had to create these walls, these barriers, because it was certain Israelites He didn't want. There's a lot of Israelites the Lord don't want that know that they're Jakes, right? They know that they're Israelites. So the Lord had to create these stumbling blocks. ISUPK, IUIC. You got some guys that came up under Great Millstone and got offended. That became a stumbling block. The word, something happened, it became so the Lord had to create these stumbling blocks to block out most of these wild niggas that's finding out they're Jakes. You know, real quick, I just came across this in this book, Nature Knows No Color Line. Oh shit, I had an appointment. I'm gonna have to get off in a second. But it said this is I totally forgot it is. Anyway, it says this is off of page 122. It says, as we already said, the ancient Jews who left Egypt must have been quite Negroid after mating with Egyptians and Ethiopians for centuries. They were probably even originally Negroid. Abraham, according to the Bible, came from Ur of the Chaldees. Chaldea was a seat of Sumerian civilization, which was long considered to be white Aryan, but it was Negroid, says Spearing in the childhood of art. The discovery, he says, was very disconcerting to the literary historians and philologists, for that race was proved to be not a branch of the civilizing Aryan, nor of the gifted Semites, but of a Negroid people having affinities with Mongols. So yeah, they was hating. These ancient historians hated Jake. They hated when they found the truth, because everything great they want to attribute to the so-called white man, but it ain't. Our forefather Abraham was a so-called Negro, and in Sumeria or Ur the Chaldees, that's in Iraq. I've been to Iraq, bro, and when we got to southern Iraq, which is right around the area of ancient Ur, a lot of them dudes look like us, man, not like them light-skinned Arabs over there, and they go through hell over there. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, the ones over there getting their ass whooped by Jack Bauer.
Yeah, straight up. Hey, but Slocky is the point. I gotta go and get on out. But
hey, Con, that's what's up. The water for tapping in, Saquon.
Hey, how about
y'all got any other precepts? Any precepts on the comment board? Yeah, we've been going for
I had some, but it passed.
Yeah, we about an hour and 26 minutes in, so you know what I'm saying. I believe the point was made. We got to do way more than just get on Captain Tasari ass.
Yeah, got to study that secular history. Got to know it.
Yeah, that's right, man. So hey, if y'all don't got nothing, one of y'all can close us out.
At the water for listening, Abra Desire was edified, and of course, double honors to our elders and apostles, a great millstone. And we're going to give all praise to our power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakaha Kudash. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
About to say